My breakup was one of the most difficult things I've been through for an array of reasons. But I think that it made me grow a lot and it helped me to find myself. And I don't think if I hadn't gone through it, I would be the same.
So, this subject is a bit hard to talk about, and it's a bit like it's really touchy in the sense of the way in which I talk about it has to be very filtered. Um, but basically, at the start of 2020, I met my now ex boyfriend. Um, oh my god. So yeah, at the start of 2020, I met my now ex-boyfriend. I don't really want to say much about like describing him just because I think I've done a pretty good job of keeping from my side everything like um like identity non-disclosed, and I think that for me I want to keep it that way so that, out of my mouth nothing like that is out. He can say whatever he wants about me. I really don't care. But yeah. So yeah, I met him at the start of 2020. We became friends. We actually became really close. We talked every day, every night. Like, I talked to him the most, like more than I talked to like my best friends. Like I talked to him more than anyone. Um, and we kind of just like clicked. It was unlikely in the way that like we are very different and we were very different, and no one would have really thought that we would be friends, but we kind of did end up being friends, which was even weird for me because I hadn't planned on talking to him. I actually said to one of my friends I thought he was cute, but he seemed like one of those like sporty like mean boys from what I'd gathered and what I'd asked people about him. So I was kind of like, I'm not going to go there. I had added him on Snapchat because his Snapchat had come up, so I did add him. And then, one day he snapped me. I was kind of taken aback when he snapped me because I didn't think he would, or I thought he was being like a dick. So I snapped him back, and then like actually started having a conversation, and he replied to one of my stories, and we actually started having a conversation. And I realized he actually wasn't being a dick, and he was actually being nice. So I was like, oh. So from there, it just went off. So we spoke every single day and night for a year and a half, give or take. And yeah, we got really close. I knew a lot about him. He knew a lot about me. And I think I was at a sleepover with two of my friends, and I told my friends I thought he was cute, but like, if I think someone's hot, like that's not enough for me to be like I have a crush on them. Like I actually have to get to know their personality, and at this point, I had only talked to him for like I'd only been talking to him for like a month, so I didn't really know him that well. For me, that's not really knowing someone that well. So I didn't know him that well. So I was like, yeah, he's cute, but like I don't really know him, so yeah. I didn't have any feelings like in that way. So I was in the bathroom, and my friends have like my password, like they were my close friends, and they messaged him saying that I liked him. And even though at that point I hadn't liked him, I did end up, but I didn't like him at that point just because I didn't know him that well. So obviously he responded saying, no, sorry, I don't like you either. Like I don't feel the same, because he didn't really know me that well either, and I think he was still figuring some things out. But yeah, so then they told me, and I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, oh shit. So I like damage control was like, it was my friend, and I actually had like a photo of my friend saying like I just like did that, and I was like, oh. So like I sent it to him, and we cleared that up, and I was like, yeah, like, you're nice, but I don't feel that way about you. So we just kept talking like normal, like nothing happened because it wasn't me, and I think with that photo, he kind of realized it wasn't. So we just kept talking, whatever. Um, and then after like 4 months, I developed some feelings towards him. And I think I told him. I do remember telling him, like, I remember telling him, and I remember, because we were playing Truth or Dare, and I remember him being like, tell the guy you like that you like him, and it was him, so I was like, yeah, I don't really care. So I was like, you, I like you. And he had said that, like, I think I actually have a photo of it because I was really excited, so I took a photo on another device, you know, how Snapchat is. But he said that he'd liked me as well, but he didn't think it could go any further because he was typically into girls. So I had asked him after that, I was like, do you want it to, you know, go further? Or, like, do you want to see where it goes? Or just want to leave it and we just, you know, forget that ever happened? And he just said okay. So I was really confused about that. So, yeah, time went on and we'd kind of just, like, not really talked about it anymore. And then come, like, November, December, we started, like, talking a bit more flirty, you could say. Like, we're having like non-friendship conversations, if you can like get what I'm putting down. So the conversations kind of like went over there. We were still having our usual convos as well, which I liked that we like kept that up as well. But like we were definitely getting more flirty, and so I was like, alright, like I still liked him, so I was like, oh, like this is cool, whatever. So yeah, we had started like talking a bit more flirty, and then he had been like, I had wanted to go out with him as well, but he'd like been asking me to go out for like a little bit, and I was really busy. I was like busy for ages. Like there were like a couple months where I like literally didn't have any free time. So I said, okay, I have a date like that I can do. Can you? He said yes. From memory, it was late March. I think it was March 21st. From memory, I'll check the timestamp. I just think I remember that because 21's my lucky number, and I found it weird that that was the only date that I had free. And so we actually ended up going on our first date March 21. So we talked like flirty from like December onwards, and so it was a couple months, and then like him and I had both established we did want to go out together, and so he wanted to take me out, so we did. We went like around his area. It was really nice. You know, we had some fun and stuff like that. And yeah, so it went great. Like, there were a few things that went really bad. Like, I was really late home because I wasn't on my phone. Like my dad had like driven to like where we were to like try find me and stuff. Like my best friend was like crying at the train station because she was gonna meet me to go home. I was actually late every single day I went on with him. I was late home. Like I just lost track of time, which is a good thing, but also really bad because my parents thought I had died. But yeah, everyone was like stressing, so that wasn't good. But the actual date was really good. And, you know, we talked about it after, we kept talking, and then we established that we did want to go on a second date. So we'd went on, like, a bunch of dates and stuff. We'd gotten really close. I wasn't seeing anyone else. I didn't think he was seeing anyone else. And then I'd asked about two girls because it was just making me a bit uncomfortable, the way that he was, like, saying they were talking about him. And I was like, oh, like, is anything happening there? And he was like, no, like, I promise you, like, nothing is happening, I swear. Like, I would never do that to you, stuff like that, all the standard. And so um, I later found out that he had gotten with just those two girls as when he was with me.
When I found out that like he cheated on Xavier, I was really surprised. It was just really low of like a person and very disrespectful on his end, especially when Xavier didn't do anything wrong.
I'd found out that he'd hooked with both of them. I'd asked one of my friends who went to school with the girl that, you know, I thought that he may have done something with. I wasn't 100% sure, but I just had a little suspicion. Nonetheless, when she got back to school, she asked her. The same day that we broke up, he went out with her. And then the day after that, he went out with her again and they hooked up. It's almost laughable now to think about it, but then I was crushed. Like, I found that out and I was like... And I'd also found out that he had hooked with the other girl that I had suspected whilst we were together. He'd hooked with her twice. So I was like, oh, like my blood was boiling. I was like, how didn't I see it? Like, I was blaming me. I was like, did I do something? Like, yeah, it was a whole thing. And my friends like really, really, really helped me through that. I needed them a lot and they really stepped up. Like, my friends were like, hey, let's go out today. Like, let's come over. Like, I needed them. Like, the day that I got back, because the day that we broke up at 1 a.m. the same day that I was coming back to Melbourne. So I was going to be seeing him that day. But didn't end up happening, obviously. So that day I got back to Melbourne, my best friend Ava, she was at my door the second we got home, and she stayed over the night, which was just like amazing. Like, I really needed her and I needed someone, and she was at the door. I just landed off the plane. She was at my door and she was like, let's go. And yeah, my friends really got me through that. So thank you. I thought that then, after that, it had ended there. He kept denying it, whatever. Like, I never talked to him after we broke up. But my Ava did message him saying, did you cheat on him? He was like, no, I didn't, I promise. It's all bull, but whatever. So, it was pretty bad, and I felt really bad. But I thought that after that, it was over, like, it was done, that was all. Turns out it wasn't. He'd actually started dating the girl that he went out with the day that he was meant to be seeing me, like the day that we broke up. He'd actually started dating her, and on their 1 month, she had messaged me on Instagram saying, hey, I know you don't know who I am, but I just, you know, he's been telling me these stories. He keeps changing it up. I don't know if I believe him. Like, I just want to hear it from you. Would you be comfortable with talking to me? And I was really taken aback. I was like, I hadn't talked about it publicly, and I still haven't. This is probably the most public I'm going to talk about it, but of course it's in very loose terms, and there's no names. Like, I'm not saying names, school, nothing. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't, you know, I have a lot of bad feelings towards him, but I wouldn't do that. That's not right. But yeah, she messaged me, and I was like, I'd only be comfortable with doing it over FaceTime, because it was the most face-to-face we'll get. I didn't want to do like a whole texting thing. Like, I wanted to talk to her. So we talked for like an hour and a half, and, you know, I said what I had to say. She said what he had been saying about me, and he said that we had barely talked. I was like, we'd met, hooked up once, and then that was it. And then I said that he cheated on me, which was such, like, everyone around me, when they heard that, was like, what the hell? Because it wasn't me telling them things. They had seen what he had been saying to me, how much we talked. Like, they saw it. So they knew I wasn't lying because they'd seen it with their own eyes.
My first reaction of when Xavier's ex started spreading rumors about him was really, like, off, because Xavier kept everything, like, out of the internet. Like, he wouldn't do anything about him because it was private. It was like a private relationship, and I just found it really odd that, like, he would do that. There were just all these rumors going on, and it just wasn't a good vibe. It was just not a good environment to be in, and I feel like he was already dealing with a lot, and having to, like, deal with him spreading rumors about Xavier, it was just really, because, yeah, it just yeah, I just found it really awful of a person to do that.
I hadn't deleted any of our videos or of our dates or screenshots of things or anything because sadly, I had to think if anything does happen, I want to have these things. And I think that the reason why she believed me over him is because I had things to back up what I was saying and he kept changing his story and he didn't have anything to back it up. Whereas I was telling her things and then I could show her this is, this is what he said and I can show you that he said that. So she did believe me. She said, I believe you, like I 100% do. She did continue dating him for like a week or two more. And then she broke it off with him because the girls from her school were saying that I would never lie about that, which is true, I didn't. That I would never lie about something like that and like that they should believe me, that she should believe me, which she did believe me, but she just didn't break up with him. But she said that it had also gotten really weird because he like talked about me all the time and stuff. And he'd started spreading like things around. Even like today, like I heard something new from one of my friends that like said that I got with him while he was with her. Like there's just a bunch of things that now just keep circling. I don't even know all of them, to be honest. I don't really care to know. But yeah, I'd heard it circling around. Long story short, it's just I'm very proud of the way that I dealt with it. I think I did deal with it very well. I wasn't public about it. I had talked about on my stories and stuff like I've been cheated on, like stuff like that. But like I was never like his name was and he did, I never mentioned anything like that. I would never do that and I still wouldn't do that. Because obviously a little part of me still doesn't always will care about him, but there's obviously a fat part of me that, whoo, Steve. He didn't like me for a long time, and then my looks changed. I didn't look like this when we were dating. I just had the short hair. But people had said I'd gotten better in looks. And it's kind of when I got better in looks and changed my style and stuff that he had kind of taken an interest with me, which should have been a red flag in itself. Because I get like attraction is something, obviously, you want to be attracted to the person that you're going out with. But it's not everything, and I think that for him, my looks and the way I looked was enough to, cover up everything else. It was just, oh, he's pretty, so whatever. Which is not a thing. I have a personality, and, that's a pretty good thing too. My personality is pretty good as well, so it's something to explore. But yeah, I'm really grateful for my friends that got me through that breakup because it was difficult and I couldn't have done it without them. And as the title of this episode says, hearts heal eventually, and mine did.